Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Jesse Rothstein. I'm a key account manager at LinkedIn, and we are here for Tales of the Sales on Thursday, June 11th. I'm excited this morning to be joined by Audrey Lauder from LinkedIn, Stephen Glennie from LinkedIn, and Victor Cardona from Comcast Business. Main topic we're going to be discussing over the next 25 minutes is selling in this new world where we're all virtual and we're no longer able to get face to face due to the world events going on and the global pandemic. And our team at LinkedIn is extremely curious to better understand from our client, in this case, Victor, how he and his team are dealing with this new normal. So, Victor, welcome. Thank you for being a guest on this morning's conversation. Maybe first, just to kick us off, who you are and what you do at Comcast Business, and then just kind of shoot us straight. I mean, how's it going in this kind of new world where everything's virtual?
Yeah, no, first and foremost, appreciate the opportunity. I'm humbled and honored that you guys asked me to join you. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with you. So my name is Victor Cardona. I've been in the tech, IT, telecom industry for the past 16 years. Can't believe it's been that long. The last 10 years has been in the media, IT, tech space with Comcast and Comcast Business, NBC Universal. And just enjoying to be here. And like I said, enjoyed being here with you guys, and anything I could do to better support, that's what our team is here to do. But yeah, it's been a challenge. I got to say in the beginning, I'd say the first week was probably the toughest for me, just adapting to the new norm. I have 2 kids under 2. I have a teen, and obviously I'm a happily married man. So it's been a challenge to be in the same house with everybody and trying to get work done and homeschool and be a parent. But things are getting better now. I see obviously more the video conferencing has been more of a staple now, where I think people are becoming more comfortable. But yeah, initially it was a challenge. I'm an extrovert, so I love to be in front of people. I'm that guy that's always on the road, back to back meetings. There's always an event, breakfast, lunch. I hate being in front of my laptop, but I would say that was the hardest part for me. But things are starting to move in the right direction.
Hey, Victor, knowing we are 3 months into this and more months to come, we're not out of the woods yet, and there's going to be some degree of this virtual world that will most likely always be a part of. What's one piece of advice that maybe you would tell yourself on day one, now that you've got kind of 3 months of experience in this virtual world?
I would say the biggest advice I'd give myself, and it's something I didn't do, was to keep the same routines you had before, keep it during the whole virtualized environment. I kind of went away from all my routines, everything I'm comfortable with, just because I didn't know what the hell to do, to be honest with you. I was just, mentally, I was a little messed up. So I would say that try to stay away from the news as much as you can, right? Because in sales, personally, I just talk personal. In sales, it's all mental, right? I'd say it's 90% mental, how you go into it, how you come out of it. And if you're mentally not there, you're not going to bring your A game, right, to the field. So I actually closed my other social media, not LinkedIn, temporarily, just because everything was just a cloud of negativity, and the world's going to end, and it started to affect me mentally. And that's when I realized you got to kind of get back to your routine, waking up early, reading, writing, meditating, whatever I normally do. I got to get back to that, keep that routine. Stay away from social media, minus LinkedIn. Actually, I'm not just saying it because it's LinkedIn, but you guys were the only thing I kept on. And just keep on moving forward, man. So that I'd say if I would have known that, I don't think anybody knew, but I think I would have known that from day one, it would have been a lot easier. But I caught it pretty quick within 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's super smart. And I resonate directly with that experience. I went through that same change curve. So I think that's a good piece of advice.
Yep.
I agree. I wish I would have done the same thing. My life may be a little different had I done that, but it sounds like, Victor, just with staying in the normal routine, it's helped you be effective, not only from a sales, but also a mental health capacity. And you mentioned something when you were opening up this dialogue around you like being in front of customers, you don't love being in front of your laptop. You're really effective in front of your customers when it's an in-person meeting. And knowing that we're now in this remote environment and we don't have the luxury to be in front of our prospects and our customers to ultimately impact our deals, what has helped you remain effective in this social distance selling environment?
Yeah, I would say just being myself. And I think that's one of the reasons I've done fairly well in my career is just the whole idea of just being authentic, just authenticity, just being yourself. We're all going through this together. And for me, it was even when I'm prospecting or I'm talking to new customers, my first question is, dude, is like, how you doing? You know what I mean? How's the family? I mean, I pray that you guys are safe. You know, it sucks for me too. You know what I mean? I have the kids. I always joke, I live with 5 women. So, you know, I'm borderline, gonna shoot myself here. But that always, kind of breaks the ice there. But it's just be yourself. We're all going through this together. We're all dealing with this. The whole world is, right? So when I come in with that authenticity, that care, right, and most of these customers resonate with it and they like it. So that's been my key. Just being myself, right, and just talking to customers like if I'm talking to you guys, right, talking to my brother or my cousins.
Awesome. Right. Authenticity is key.
Oh yeah.
Victor, hey, it's Jesse. I'm just curious. Have you added anything to your your digital or your sales toolkit? Now that we're all virtual. Any new software you're using? Any new things in your home office that's made you more productive? I don't know. I've started writing a little bit more in my journal in the morning to kind of get my head right. I'm just curious for you. Have you added anything now that you weren't using before?
Oh yeah. So obviously the video calls is something I never did before.
Sure.
Teams, Zoom, doing that a lot more. I'm actually doing happy hours with customers where we're all getting our own drinks. They're drinking. We're scheduling a happy hour, coffee with clients. Just trying to humanize the whole situation. I mean, some of the things I've implemented is just breaks throughout the day, right? So I think because now we're selling virtually, people kind of expect you to be on your laptop all day, right? Because they know you're not anywhere. And if you're not answering, they're like, dude, where are you? So for me is I try to do a break in the morning. When I actually do lunch, I try to get away from my desk. And I do like a 3 o'clock, and then whenever I'm done working, I'm done. I'm not your average sales guy. I'm working all day, so I mean I'm working till 9, 10 at night sometimes. So for me, it's taking those breaks, maybe dipping in the pool, running outside, getting outdoors. So stuff like that. I've always been a neat freak, right? For me, and just being anal with everything I have in my desk. I mean, my desk is immaculate. My car, like, it annoys everybody. That's just how I am. I like to have something clean. If I'm focusing on work, that's all I'm doing, right? So just I would say those are some of the things that I would suggest for other salespeople to do. Take those breaks. It's important.
Victor, one of the things that jumps out to me that you said earlier was, you're an extrovert. And when you first initially moved into this virtual world, there was that challenge there. And from the LinkedIn team, we're also in that same boat of, being traveling all the time and being on the road and really being able to interact with customers. And it seems like you're able to start doing that with some of these virtual happy hours. But would love to know, when we think about kind of the in-person selling and the virtual selling, have there been any benefits from this virtual world that you've been able to see, or any kind of like bright lights that have come through with some of these relationships you've been able to continue to build?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, I mean, any touch point with a customer is good, right? And I think video is obviously better than email and phone calls, right? So the more video I can get out there, they're seeing my face, they're seeing my expressions. You can humanize the video, right? Because you're in your room, you're in your bedroom, your office. They see kind of a little bit. I don't know what to say. I use my daughter as a prop, but I'll bring her little bun up to the to my desk and sit her down with me sometimes in meetings. And I'll have her come in without the customer knowing, just to humanize, like, hey, I'm a human too, right? We all have our things to do, right? So I that's been good. Another tip I would give salespeople is, and what I've done is, I don't know if you guys noticed on my LinkedIn, I've pushed more personal content out with a hint of business, right? Just because everybody's doing their thing, everybody's virtual. So if there's any way I could push out a little bit more of a personal touch to all the content that I'm doing. I mean, I could put out an article about our new SD-WAN, 2.0 and get 20 likes. I put in my daughter, I get 300 likes. That, thousands of, hundreds. Not, I got 1,200 likes and 400 comments recently, and it's like, it's just so you get the person out there. People are like, they want to connect. So I guess they feel like it's a connection when they could see, a little bit of a personal touch to your post.
Totally. I think it goes in line with this. We are truly all in this together, and seeing individuals with their kids at home, with their dogs running through, with their significant others in the background working, it does really humanize this entire.
Yeah, and I think it's a benefit. I think, as I mentioned, that's one of the reasons I think I've done well, is because I've always been like that, even with face to face. I bring up family, I bring up my family. It's just, I don't know. I think people connect with people who are themselves, who are authentic, and I think people love it. So.
Yeah, I agree. People connect with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to see that a lot in my LinkedIn feed as well. It's just more of a human element. And as I start to do more video conference calls, it's fun to see, people's homes and where they live and what their family like, and their dogs in the background. So, knowing that LinkedIn is remained an active part of your sales strategy, and you're starting to incorporate business and personal content in there, maybe share with us a little bit more about what type of content is resonating with your decision makers and your buyers, and most importantly, how are you getting their attention in a time where it feels like they're distracted with a lot of other things and a lot of other priorities?
Yeah, I think for me, and I think everyone's different, right? But I think what I've done that's worked is there's been an overarching message of just positivity, right? Just coming in, mental health, mental awareness. We're all, to your point, we're all going through this together. But these are, some of the posts that have the most traction are the ones that, hey, these are the steps I've taken, and how I've aligned it with my business, and just kind of, getting everything in line. But these are steps I've taken, right? And to Jesse's point, I write every morning. I wake up early. The first hour and a half is for me, right? And I put stuff like that on LinkedIn, and it resonates because I think people need it. And I think there's been a bad stigma of mental health. Not to get off topic, but I think there's been a bad stigma with people seeking, more mental stability. It doesn't mean you're weak. We're human, right? So you have to work on, same way you work out every day, you got to work on your health, on your mental health. You got to work on your brain. And if you're not doing that, it's a problem. So when I post stuff like that on LinkedIn, I get a lot more traction from CIOs, VP of ITs, IT directors. I think last time I looked at the stats, 71% of my contacts are all IT folks. So they're not just recruiters and insurance guys. And I love insurance guys, nothing against you guys, but it's people in my field, right? So it's people that I can connect with, potentially do business with down the road. So it's resonating a lot, and I get a ton of messages. It's like, Vic, this is awesome. I needed this. So I do it. I'm not gonna say that's the only reason I do it, because I'd be lying to you, but it does feel well when people be like, you know what, I needed this message today.
Yeah, I love that. I think it goes back to the simple mindset that people buy from people, and how important it is for you to be empowered to tap into that emotional and that personal side of a buyer to truly understand, what it is that is going to compel them to do business with you, or what's going to maybe resist them to do business from you. So I love hearing that personal side of your life and your experience during these times is something that's resonated well with your network and your connections, and most importantly, your buyers, to better connect you to that group. It's great.
And I'd say I would echo that, Audrey. So people are always watching, and you don't know that until you see these guys or see these people, but you may get 20 likes on a post, but You'd be surprised so what I do is, and I don't know if this is a good strategy, you might want to delete this from the video. But what I do is as soon as I have a conversation with somebody, I automatically send them a LinkedIn request. And at the end of the conversation, I'm like, hey, I just sent you a request. I hope that's okay. But it'd be good to put a name with the face. Let's connect, anything you need. I have a lot of connections. I mean, I have 19,000 plus connections in my LinkedIn. And I swear it happens all the time. When I finally meet somebody or I get in front of somebody, they're like, Vic, like your daughter is so beautiful. Like you would never know they were looking at your post, but they're like, yeah, your daughter's so beautiful. So for me, that's a way to break the ice. And that's to Steve's point. It's all about my daughter, because I could talk about my daughter for days. I'm crazy about it. Right. So I could have a 2-hour meeting with the customer, and an hour and a half of that is about family, right? And that's what you want. You want to connect on a human level. So people are always watching, whether they're liking or commenting or sharing whether they're doing it or not. They're always watching.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just that digital exposure to helping people build rapport, I think, is so important, right? It's a completely different conversation starter than how's the weather in Waco, Texas,
I hate it.
Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it adds a lot more credibility and just human element to what it is that we do.
Oh yeah.
Victor, hey, it's Jesse again. You're you mentioned earlier, here we are in June, and depending on where you live, in the US or even globally, the level of openness and the world kind of reopening, it varies based on where you live. But I'm curious, from your perspective, in your world, your respective territory, the accounts you call on, how are you thinking about, the rest of 2020 and even, as we get into 21? I mean, how are you allocating your time? How are you thinking about, as a salesperson, achieving and exceeding your quota in arguably what may be the worst economic environment any of us have ever experienced in our lifetimes?
Yeah, so Jesse, it goes back to the mental health thing. I can only control what I can control, and that's the attitude that I have to wake up with every day. And what I can control is my response to everything that's going on. And for me, I've decided, I should have decided it right from day one, but maybe a week or two later, that I'm going to double down on all my prospecting and anything that drives revenue. I'm going to focus on all day, like literally all day, and then late at night, I'll do all the BS stuff with CRM and spreadsheets, proposals, but I'm going to focus on connecting with new folks, calling, emailing, scheduling those video calls. And that's all I can do, because everything you do today affects Q4, Q3, next year. So you better get on it now, because if you're lazy now, you're not going to make money. I mean, in sales, that's what we're here to make money. You're not going to make money for the next couple quarters and year. So for me, it's literally double downing on prospecting and connecting with new folks. And I know everybody says it, but it's BS. I don't think everybody does it. I mean, it's so easy to get distracted, especially at home with the kids.
Yeah.
So you need to make it a point to block out that time to do that, because if you don't, you're gonna fall right into the cycle really easily.
Yeah. I had an old mentor from years ago tell me that just when you think you're done prospecting and you've connected or built relationships, with 5 or 10 more people, you need to realize that you're not done, because you got to go find 5 or 10 more.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it's not sexy, but it's all prospecting. It's all looking. I mean, if you're in sales, that is your job. 99% of your job is revenue, bringing in revenue. And if you're not speaking to new prospects, you're not doing your job. And it's just how it is. If you're not building those relationships with your existing accounts and building new people, bringing them in the funnel, connecting with new folks, it's going to catch up to you one day, right? And I think that's the one way you go, you get that sustained success, is continuing to prospect, continue to talk to new folks, continue to work your way through the organization. And that should be your only goal right now, because it's tough for everybody and everybody's busy, but this is the way to build it.
Great. All right. Well, we probably have time for maybe one more with this week's episode. So, Audrey or Steven, any others for Victor?
One, Victor, what are your summer plans now that we're in June? Kind of in a funky time period around just making summer plans. Curious to know what you're going to do this summer?
Yeah, so I don't know if it was destiny or God's will last year, but I had inked a deal to build a pool in November. So it's finally finished. It finished. All the pouring was done yesterday, and tomorrow they're going to clean the pool. So that means tomorrow night, probably Saturday, I can start dipping into my my in-ground pool. So I will be live with a Corona and some Zach Brown band in the back all day, every day this summer. I'd say right now. That's going to be me. Coronas and Zach Brown all day.
Well, I would expect the next time we're chatting, you're going to have a nice sun-kissed glow then.
I'll try. All the tanning booths are closed, unfortunately. I've been trying to get my tan on, but it's not working. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Victor, on behalf of our LinkedIn team, I just want to say thank you for the time and the perspective and the guidance. I mean, I think, all of us as client-facing salespeople are dealing with this kind of new digital world on our own way. And, I'm a firm believer that getting the perspective of the people that are in the trenches is what really matters, because we're the ones that are closest. We're the ones that are, ups and downs, highs and lows. I mean, as we all know, this is not an easy profession. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for your perspective. And, this will conclude our episode on June 11th, but keep it in the back of your mind. We may revisit this in a few months and have you on for a different topic if you're open to it.
I'm 100% open to it. And I'll say one more point. First of all, thank you guys for having me on. I'd say that because we're in one of the worst economic turmoil, times in history, I think that people and companies are going to rely on us a lot more. And when I say yes, I mean sales. So be proud that you're a salesperson, because every time you close a deal, you drive the economy. So you need to remember that from a mental standpoint, right? When I wake up, I'm like, you know what? Whatever I do right now affects Comcast, affects the economy, affects my economy. So that's the attitude you need to have as a sales professional, because everyone's relying on us now to rebuild the economy. So when you have that attitude, you'll go out there, you're ready to blow through a wall. So just remember that.
Awesome. Yeah. Victor, thanks so much. Appreciate the time. And
thank you guys.
This will conclude our session for June 11th. We'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Take care.